this job when they were in there. And I can tell you this now, Analiz, I've worked with her, I've worked with George, I worked with Satya, and Analiz just showed the most qualities of a leadership, and she has worked so hard. George, same, but in Analiz, it's truly the VPX will be a great position for her. So if there is no other questions or opposed or in favor,
are we allowed to abstain?
You can, but it's you have the option to vote. I say vote.
It's really
if they don't get, you should remember, if they don't get this position, there's other positions they can apply for. Some may be best at another position, some may not. There's other vacant positions that they can apply to. It's not the end.
May I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
I think that one of the things we have to start looking when we're looking for our leadership is that, leaders don't stop being leaders just because they didn't get chosen. Leaders remain leaders and will act and do whatever it takes to help us, even if they just become allies. Who knows? They could become like the biggest screaming eagle, or whatever. I think that not choosing them for a role doesn't mean that it's a deterrent. If anything, it just means that they have to calculate or really fix whatever it is that they want to work on for themselves so that they're able to get to that next level. Because, you can be really great at speaking, but maybe you're not really good at being on time or putting reports in on time or refraining from doing things that are not ASI related. So I think this is a good opportunity for us to let them and remind them that, look, maybe this is not your turn, but it doesn't mean that you should stop being a leader. It just means that you have to refine your tools and your skills so that you can be a part of the bigger picture, which is ASI as a whole. 26,000 students, not just one.
Yeah, and it's hard because I know these candidates, and right from the start, one candidate just showed that, they just wanted to go to a higher position, just take this position and go somewhere else. And I just don't want that. The VPX is such a crucial part of ASI, and I just don't want somebody to take that just because they want another position in CSSA. I don't want that. That's not something that you should be telling me at all for someone who's going to interview you, So that's why I give my recommendation to Analiz, because she truly showed dedication to her work and to this position. So if there's no other opposing or in favor or any other questions, I wanted to...
I have a question, sorry. I have my hand raised. But really quick, since, it's my first year with ASI, and so I just want, a little bit of transparency and insight. So what would you say is a strength and a place to improve for both candidates? Because I don't have any experience with them. So hearing that from you or Letty or anyone else, so we really know who to...
What's the strength in each candidate?
Strength and place to improve.
Strength and place. So for my opinion, I've worked with all three. Not that much with Satya, but I have worked with George and Analiz. Analiz's strength is how rooted she is into the community, and how well organized and how well rounded she is with the campus community and her community. I think one of her biggest strengths is that she can empathize with our students, understands where they're coming from. George's strength is that he's already been doing this. He's been in CSSA, so he was the Alumni Association member or liaison for CSSA, so he knows how CSSA works. One thing that Analiz will need improvement on is understanding the system of what CSSA is and how they work. So that's just like you guys. You guys don't know much of ASI. You guys are currently going through training and figuring out what ASI is. So she'll just have a small month or two to figure out what CSSA is, because she's only been to a few CSSA. I think she's been to chess, and I think one more CSSA, but I'm not sure. So I think just learning what CSSA is. But yeah, Satya, he's a great leader. He was an NSS representative, but I didn't really work with him as much. So if there's any board member who wants to talk on behalf in favor of Sathya, then go ahead. But yeah, so George, he's been in CSSA for a while now. Analiz hasn't, but Analiz does have that dedication, and she has that rooted, from her community. And George, he already presented himself as a position seeker from the beginning, and I didn't feel comfortable with that.
What would you say one of George's ways to improve are?
I think knowing where the students are coming from, empathizing with them. From previous years I worked with him, he would be interested in learning what the students want and what they're trying to advocate for, but he wouldn't follow through with it.
Right.
And Annalise she'll create events, she'll create a town hall, she'll host a town hall, she'll listen out, follow through with the administrators. George would just stop at the emailing, oh hey, like email me, and that's where he would stop. And that's what I've noticed from my 2 years in ASI with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, empathy is very important, so hearing that.
Levy?
Yeah, just like Diana, I have worked with George and I have worked with Annalise. Yes, George has a lot of connections. He has networked a lot. He's involved in a lot of committees, and then he made a lot of great events. He was a representative for business and economics, and he had good partnership with the dean and the associate dean. Annalise, on the other hand, and just like Diana said, I really liked when she joined us as the senator at large last year. So we worked together. So if you guys know, I was actually the first. When I held the town hall for graduate students, Annalise actually initiated. Although she's an undergrad senator, she actually lend a hand and say like, "Letty, what do you need? How can we help you?" And then from that town hall that we came up from the graduate student, they created another town hall that would address a university-wide, student population. And, Annalise is really great. She's very passionate about advocating for students. George, I know, exactly, it's very hard on my part right now because I've worked both of them and I've seen like the pros and cons in having with them. But I think as it is also very important, everyone, that that this position is an executive position. You'll take on a lot of leadership at ASI, and we should choose someone who can work with all of us. And by just answering questions earlier, you can get a hint. The person that has this personality, who can work with everyone, who can advocate for students, who can represent, and who can talk. We need someone who can talk and who can communicate to represent ASI of Cal State LA, our students, to the CSSA and to other community leaders. So I'm going to give my recommendation for Annalise.
I think that also we have to remember that as a body of government, student government, we have to think about the legacy and what we are going to be leaving behind when we leave next year. We have to look back and say, did we pick the right people? Did we choose the right choice? And just because we know someone, or because we might be endeared to someone because they happen to share maybe the same birthday or whatnot, or what we really have to think about it again is we are representing 26,000 students, and we need to have the absolute best as far as that. There can be no bias in our choice for who is going to really represent us, and I feel that that's what this young lady has shown us. She's shown through. She hasn't just promised; she's proven. That's really important.
Right. I think it's very interesting that Letty kept saying she's empathetic and how we need someone that's going to communicate well. Because if you look at everyone in the Zoom call, we're all different. We are all from different backgrounds, so we need someone that will be able to put themselves in the same shoes as us. So.
Yeah, thank you, Gabe. Thank you, Rajan. Thank you, Lily. If there's no one else, I want to go ahead and do a roll call vote. So the way your roll call vote is, Anna will go ahead and say your name, and then you'll just say who you want to vote for. Whether it's George Salazar, Annalise Marmolejo, or Satya Ramini. So Anna, we can go ahead and call on everybody, and then just just state the name of the candidate you want to vote for. So go ahead, Anna.
Diana Chavez.
Analiz Marmolejo.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Vote you.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I've been so used to being a fan.
That is my bad as well. Don't worry.
JK. This is why we have Dina. This is why we have Dina. And Anna. Okay.
Okay. Got it. Ready?
Oops.
Ready?
Annalise,
Gabriel.
Annalise.
Kayla.
Annalise.
I say Annalise. Rochelle.
Annalise,
Jasmine.
Annalise,
Joanna K.
Annalise.
Jonathan.
Annalise.
Lauren Diana.
Annalise.
Rajon.
Annalise.
Kyle Mesa.
Annalise.
Emily.
Annalise.
Christy.
Annalise,
Okay, all in favor, all voted for Annalise.
So passed unanimously. Okay. So thank you so much for asking questions and participating in this discussion. Dina, I don't know how to bring them back.